Good morning, wrestling fans. Today is Tuesday, July 18th, 2023. Hope everyone is having a great Tuesday so far. Lance Brock here with you on this Tuesday morning to talk some pro wrestling. In case you missed it last night, there is a new episode of 360 Wrestling Fanatic available now, and episode 449 recapping last night's WWE Monday Night Raw, which we saw the return to Raw of Brock Lesnar, and no surprise, accepting the challenge from Cody Rhodes to a match at SummerSlam in the hometown of the American Nightmare, Atlanta, Georgia, which Cody Rhodes called Lesnar out a couple of times, but Lesnar did not show his face. And when Rhodes was going to the back, sounded like maybe threw a chair at him, and then we saw the chair thrown out the entrance, and Lesnar gets in the ring and accepts the challenge and gives Cody F5 on the floor in front of his mother, who is sitting at ringside. So that will take place August 5th at SummerSlam here in Detroit, which unfortunately I won't be able to go to. But like I mentioned last night on 360 Wrestling Fanatic, is that it hasn't been announced yet, but there could be, since this is the third rubber match in the series between Lesnar and Rhodes, possibly a stip of some kind added to it. But we will just have to wait and see in the coming weeks, which is maybe just a couple weeks or so away till SummerSlam, which they haven't really officially announced too many, if any, matches just yet. I mean, it looks like the way things are going, you can kind of tell some matches we are going to see. Actually, well, one is official because Brock Lesnar just accepted Cody's challenge, and then I don't think they've officially announced it just yet, but Roman Reigns and Jey Uso for the Undisputed Championship. And I think, I'm not sure if they announced it yet, but Logan Paul and Ricochet probably will be taking place. And other than that, not really anything really officially announced just yet for SummerSlam. But still, I think they could end up pulling a good card out. And last night's Raw was a sellout, actually. I checked WrestleTix sometime in the afternoon, maybe 3-4 o'clock, and I want to say it said there was only 17 tickets available left for the setup they had available for Raw last night. And I noticed that a lot of Raw and SmackDowns coming up, quite a few of them, are either close to being sellouts or are sold out. And I know they're not on Raw as of late, but SmackDown you definitely have to give credit to the Bloodline storyline with that, especially with the ratings as of SmackDown as of late, and especially the tribal court segment a couple of weeks ago, that the opening segment featuring the Usos and Roman and Solo, it got a big rating, and so did the closing segment. Now, last week's SmackDown wasn't quite as a big number as the week before with the tribal court, but it was still a pretty good number. And like I said, definitely gotta give credit to the Bloodline storyline. I think this definitely helped bring a lot of eyes to WWE. I think especially the Usos definitely had a big part of that. They have been great during this last few months or so, especially during the tribal court, and Jey Uso's promo on SmackDown last Friday was great. Not too sure as of right now how long Jimmy is going to be out for. Could possibly see him back at SummerSlam. I wouldn't doubt that. And could possibly get involved somehow in the Universal Championship match between Roman and Jey. So that was last night's Raw. Of course, there is more of a recap on last night's episode of 360 Wrestling Fanatic. And for tonight, we have a new episode of NXT, followed by a new episode of Dark Side of the Ring. This week, Dark Side of the Ring is about Abdullah the Butcher, which this should be, I know I keep saying this every week, but this should be a pretty interesting episode about this one. If you know Abdullah the Butcher, you know, famous for bleeding, using the fork during matches, and I'm not sure how much I'll get into it. I'm sure they'll probably talk about it a little bit, but the incident with Hannibal Devin Nicholson, I'm sure they'll probably talk about that. But that's Dark Side of the Ring tonight on Vice. And I think next week, because I remember hearing that they, for some reason, ended up changing the order of episodes a little bit. I want to say what I heard John Pollock from Post Wrestling say is that actually Abdullah the Butcher episode was originally supposed to be next week, and this week was supposed to be Bash at the Beach 2000, and I think they ended up flipping the two episodes, switching them around a little bit. So next week should be Bash at the Beach 2000. And that is all for this Tuesday morning episode of GMWF. Thank you everyone for tuning in today. Once again, hope everyone has had a good morning. Remember, if you have any questions, comments, or just want to say anything, you can still leave your feedback about last night's Raw in the comment section on Spreaker or YouTube or whichever website or app you listen to 360 Wrestling Podcast on. And remember, all the social media, don't really update it like a whole lot, but Instagram 360 Wrestling Podcast, Twitter at 360 Wrestling Pod, and also Facebook 360 Wrestling Podcast. And hope to have a new episode of 360 Wrestling Fanatic tonight, talking about NXT and Dark Side of the Ring. But we'll be back tomorrow for the usual Wednesday episode, where I'll preview tomorrow night's AEW Dynamite. Right here, wherever you listen to 360 Wrestling Podcast. Once again, thank you everyone for tuning in today. I'll talk to you tomorrow, but until then, have a great pro wrestling day.